I'm David Farkas with Aquatics Water Polo, and welcome to this episode of Game Break Olympics Edition. This one we're doing U.S. versus Montenegro in the Men's Olympics Paris 2024. The U.S. team wins 12-7. They beat a Montenegro team that's had some trouble in the early round and will not make it to the quarterfinals. The U.S. will make it to the quarterfinals. Interesting note that they mentioned on the broadcast the U.S. is 33% so far in the tournament on their power plays, which is low. We got to get that up if we want to get a medal. So they said that was last in the tournament. So the U.S. is last place on man-up percentage. That's not going to get it done. In this game, Hannes Dabe. So is it Dabe or Dobe? Because Azevedo calls him Dabe, and then the other guy, I don't know his name, calls him Dobe. And they do it right in the midst of the game, back and forth. Dabe, Dobe, Dabe, Dobe. I'm going to go with Tony on this, since he seems to know everything. So I'm going to call him Dabe. Hannes Dabe had 5 goals. Wow, 5 goals. What does that feel like to have 5 goals in an Olympic game? Amazing. I want to highlight one play which I loved from the U.S. Okay, we're going to break this down. I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to highlight. What it was is, it was a beautiful entry pass into Halleck in 2 meters from Max Irving. And it was an entry pass in one motion. So let me set this up for you. You got Max Irving on the wing over here, and you've got Ben in 2 meters here. And the U.S. was running an overload. So let me briefly just describe what an overload is. An overload is when you put more players on one side of the pool than the other. You see this here. You see this side is overloaded, and then you got one offensive player on the side that set is on. All right? And the reason you do this is the more players you have over here, the harder it is to drop these defenders back into set because they're on the side that set is not on. Right? So an overload is very effective. You'll see it all the time so that you can get the ball into 2 meters. There's only one defender here that can drop back. So you're either going to drop back and leave the outside guy open, or you're going to press him, in which case you can get it into 2 meters. So they're running an overload, and you'll see the ball is here. He's going to cross it to Max Irving. Now here's why I highlight this play. Max, in one motion, catches the ball and enters it into 2 meters. And then Halleck makes a great play. He grabs the ball, moves left, and lays out beautifully and shoots the ball. We talked about this in our video, making quick decisions with the ball. That's what Max Irving did. He made a quick decision with the ball. He caught the ball in one motion and entered it. That means he had to look into 2 meters first before he caught the ball. So you have to see what's going on before. And he had an idea of what he wanted to do with it before he caught it. You have to know. You can't catch it and then try to figure out what's going on. You've got to have an idea of what's going on and have an idea of what you want to do before in order to make this play. And that's what he did, right? Once you catch it, if the situation has changed, you can catch it and stop. But you can't make up that time if you have no idea what you're doing. If you're catching it and looking, it's too late. So you have to look and see, which is what he did. He knew what was going on. He knew that if he caught that ball, he could go right in with it. And that's what he did. So let's take a look at this play. So you see the ball's going to cross to that wing, the 5 to Max. One motion catch, in, layout, goal. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's watch that again. Ball's going to cross. One motion. In. Barely touched his hands. Barely touched his hands. If we could do that more, we would medal. More. More of that. Any team that does that. This is why I do this. If you're a young player, high school, even college, and you're watching that, learn how to do that. You will be invaluable to your team. Catch one motion into 2 meters. How often do I see that? Not often enough. The more that you can do that, the more successful you and your team is going to be. From Aquatics Water Polo, I'm David Fargas. Oh, let me say one more thing. U.S. versus Croatia on Monday. This is going to be a big test. That's tomorrow. This is a big test. Croatia's 3-1 in their pool. So we're going to get to see where the U.S. is at tomorrow. I'm going to check that game out. See you then. Bye.